How's it going, everyone? It's Taz from PT Digital, and in this video we're definitely going to be getting into the meat and bones of how to build an e-commerce campaign using Google Ads that's going to generate profitability from day one. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Rob and he's going to run through the whole thing with you. Make sure you keep watching.
Hey there everyone, it's me again, Rob, your Google Ads expert at PT Digital. Hope all is well. So today we're going to discuss about building e-commerce campaigns that print revenue. We're going to be discussing about the key campaigns that you want to establish in your account, and that will be search, shopping, and performance max campaigns, and when to use each. Now, you see, most agencies will show you impressions and clicks, but in reality, and especially in the e-commerce world, those are actually just vanity metrics. Now, we care about mainly one thing, and that is revenue that actually hits the bank. So today I'm breaking down the 3 campaign types that drive 90% of your sales and exactly when and how to deploy them. First, let's talk about the search campaign. Here is a client that we are currently managing, and as you can see, we are running different campaign types in the account. So primarily search and performance max campaign. We also have a standard shopping campaign right here. Now, so for search campaign, this is for high intent keywords like, per se, this client is selling jewelry. So let's say best custom name necklaces UK or your brand name. So what you can do is you can create a dedicated search campaign for your brand. That is to filter out and reach customers who are specifically looking for your brand name. And you can create a separate search campaign to use your best performing keywords if you already have data. So in that way, you could properly allocate budgets for each of your search campaigns. Now, ideally, if you have been running ads for quite a while already, you should probably have a list of keywords that are your top performing or best performing keywords. So you may want to use those keywords list and add them in your new search campaign. But if you don't have yet, you may want to properly research the best search terms that you would like to use, the highly relevant searches that you would like to use for the services or products that you're going to be offering. Next would be a standard shopping campaign. Now, the standard shopping campaign is going to be ideal for newer stores or specific product lines where you want to see exactly which search terms are triggering your products. So it's manual, but it's transparent. Now, you want to start your new standard shopping campaign with a bid strategy of either manual cost per click or maximize click to help the campaign to allow it to generate as much traffic data as possible. And then the goal would be to reach at least 30 to 50 conversions for the last 30 days in average. That is before you can transition from a different bid strategy from a maximize clicks or a manual cost per click into a maximize conversions or a maximize conversions with target cost per acquisition. So you need to gain enough conversion data before you transition. Now, the good thing about the standard search campaign is that you'd be able to review the search terms report. So let's say, for example, from this campaign, just go to search terms and you can adjust the date. So let's say, for example, yep, the last 90 days. And you can adjust the reports by the conversion data. So you click on this so that you can see the search terms that generated the most number of conversions down to the least. Now, the good thing about this is that here you can see what specific search terms are triggering your ads and are actually converting into a sale. So with this data that this standard shopping campaign has provided for you, you can take advantage of this. What you can do, say for example, Arabic name necklace or the top performing keyword in your ad, you can list them down and add them as your best keywords for your search campaign that you will be creating in your account as well. So ideally, you can create a standard shopping campaign first, but you can also create them altogether, a search and shopping campaign. So what again you can do is to filter out your search term support. Once there's enough conversion data, utilize the search terms and utilize them as keywords for your search campaign. So that is one practice that when you know that you are already capturing high intent traffic that converts, that's when you can utilize those search terms as keywords for the search campaign. And finally, the last campaign would be the Performance Max campaign. So for Performance Max, this is something that you could help the campaign to scale further. So it's everywhere. It's in YouTube, Gmail, search, and shopping. Now it's a beast for scaling, just so you know, but only if you give it the right data. So it is ideal for you to actually create a Performance Max campaign once you have enough conversion data from your standard shopping and search campaign. So that would be the ideal or the standard way before you launch a Performance Max campaign, because Performance Max, to set an example, is like a sports car, or let's say a Tesla. It's incredibly fast and smart, but if you don't know where you're going, it'll drive you off a cliff at 100 miles per hour. So it's going through your budget quickly. So ideally, again, before you launch a Performance Max campaign, start with a standard shopping or a search campaign. Make sure to generate enough traffic and conversion data. So at least if you are getting, let's say, 30 to 50 conversions every 30 days for those campaigns, then you can launch a Performance Max. But it's a case-to-case basis, because honestly, based on my experience, we are able to be successful with launching a Performance Max campaign initially all together with the standard and search campaign. But the thing is, with Performance Max, if you're going to launch it without enough traffic and conversion data, so in the initial stages, perhaps in the 2 to the first 4 weeks of launching of using the campaign, the average cost per click and the average cost per conversion will ideally be high, because then again, the AI and the algorithm doesn't know uh, who to reach to in order to generate your traffic into a sale. So ideally, again, standard search before PMAX. But if you have the budget, you can definitely start with a PMAX altogether with a standard shopping and the search campaign as well. Now with PMAX, say for example that you already have enough conversion data from the standard and search campaigns in the account. So then you can transition your best sellers into a Performance Max campaign like this one. So say for example, let's take a look at their asset groups. Okay, now let's assume that your account has already, let's say, generating 50 plus conversions in a month average. So with that, the AI has a map already. So it can now go find more people like your previous buyers across all of Google channels. And that's when Performance Max will help you to scale further. So let's say, for example, that in your business, you have a specific product line or category or collection. Then you can create an asset group within your Performance Max campaign. So in this case, their their name necklaces is one of their top or best sellers. So they incorporated that collection in this Performance Max, creating its own asset group with its own image displays, videos, ad assets, and text ads, primarily highlighting the specific collection to give a boost and further highlight and get more sales out of this collection. So that's how you do it. Now, to give you some advice and tips on structuring campaigns for scale, first, you want to avoid campaign bloat, as we call it. So you don't, like, for example, you don't want to have 20 different search campaigns or 20 different Performance Max campaigns for 20 different colors of the same exact item. So because Google's AI needs conversion signals, hence putting similar products into one campaign, it will help the AI to learn faster because it sees more data in one place. Now, let's talk about the triggers or indicators for you to go ahead and scale your campaign. Say, for example, this Performance Max campaign. So you need to keep in mind the rule of 30, meaning to say you need to have at least 30 conversions per month consistently before you try to scale a campaign aggressively. So when you set up your Performance Max campaign, at the start, automatically Google will set the bid strategy to maximize conversion value. So depending on your goal, you can change it to maximize conversions. Or if you're actually more towards sales, of course, you are focusing on returns. So you may want to focus with conversion value. So run your Performance Max campaign, and if it's not generating 30 conversions in a month consistently yet, do not set a target return on ad spend yet or target ROAS. So a pro tip as well. So always observe your actual campaign's return on ad spend. So say, for example, let's look at the last 30 days. So say, for example, that your Performance Max campaign has been consistently generating you at least 30 conversions per month for, let's say, 2 months or three. And what you want to do is you want to review the actual campaign ROAS last month, the previous month, and the last 30 days. So let's say for the past 3 months, your actual ROAS is around, let's say, 380% to 390%. What you want to do is you do not want to set a target ROAS that is too close to the actual campaign's numbers. So let's say you set a target ROAS of 380%. The actual ROAS is 380% as well. What's going to happen is that you can potentially restrict the campaign too much, And what's going to happen is that the campaign will stop on spending because you're going to tighten the target too much, that the campaign may no longer be um, encouraged to bid for during auctions for traffic and conversions, and you will end up the campaign not spending, costs will actually decrease, and in return, sales will also decrease. So you may want to at least put an allowance of 20 to 30%. So if your actual ROAS in the last 30 days is 380%, you may want to set a target ROAS of, like, let's say 360. And then 1 to 2 weeks after that change, observe your campaign ROAS. The number will commonly dip, but then after about 2 weeks, you will then be able to observe if the campaign ROAS is still exactly the same. If not, it will further improve. Then down the line, you can make some adjustments, like perhaps uh, an incremental budget increase to further help the campaign scale. Now, let's talk about product segmentation that increases control. So what you can do is you can separate your product groups and collections depending on their performance and revenue generation. So one group is what we call the heroes, and these are actually your best sellers. So uh, these products would be your top 10 to 20% that drive 80% of revenue, majority in your initial performance max campaign. That would be your catch-all campaign, where all your products are housed. So once there are enough conversion data, let's say that you have been running the performance max campaign for at least 3 months, you would have sufficient data to identify which are your best sellers. Now the strategy is you can give them their own performance max campaign with an uncapped budget and a slightly more aggressive target return on ad spend. So these are your revenue printers. So in this scenario for this client, they have a number of campaigns in the account, as we can see, and we have created them a separate performance max campaign for their perfumes and fragrances, and for a specific clothing line, because these are their top sellers for the business that is generating the most of their revenue. Now, the next group would be what we call the psychics. So these are the products that has high potential. So they get sales, but they're not consistent yet. So the strategy for those type of products is to group them together with a balanced target ROAS. So you can leave them in your initial performance max campaign, which is the catch all campaign. So what you can do is you can exclude the top and best sellers from this catch all campaign, because you will be allocating a different performance max campaign for those products. So you need to exclude those products from your initial catch all campaign, because what you don't want to happen is to have an overlap and an internal competition between your campaigns. So you want to have that dedicated campaign advertise your top sellers, and you want this catch all campaign to focus on the remaining products that are still inconsistent with their performance. Now, the last product group that we want to discuss is what we call the zombies. So these are your invisible products. So they're the about 60% of your product catalog as an average. That Google never shows because it's obsessed with your heroes or your best sellers. So say, for example, this is your initial performance max campaign. You would notice that after a few months of running your performance max campaign, that your best sellers or top performing products are always getting the traffic and the sale. So basically what's happening is that because Performance Max works through AI, they prioritize your product that the system knows is going to generate you the highest potential profit or revenue. And because of that, a certain product percentage or product catalog percentage is going to be left out because they're not given the opportunity or the attention, hence they are deprived of budget. So you end up with those products not generating any traffic and conversions at all, or you may notice that they're getting minimal traffic, a few clicks with zero conversions. So the strategy for that is that you may want to move those products to a standard shopping campaign. You can create a separate standard shopping campaign with a low manual bid. You don't want to be aggressive with it because, again, there's no traffic and conversion data for the zombie or the invisible products. So what it does is it wakes them up and it gets them the data without stealing the budget from your heroes or best sellers, because when you separate them on a different campaign, you can allocate a separate budget for them. And now let's talk about the launch frameworks for new and existing stores. So say, for example, you are a new store. what you want to focus on is what we call the data first approach. Now, you want to start with what we have covered earlier, a standard shopping plus a search campaign. Since you are a new Google Ads account, you don't have any traffic or conversion data yet, so you need to see the search terms report to understand how people find you in order for you to have a clear understanding what the specific search terms are that are working for your business, how they're able to find your business, your ads, and that generates you traffic and conversions. So it is important to keep in mind that your goal for your new standard shopping and search campaigns is to build a seed. So you need to build enough conversion data, perhaps 30 to 50 conversions at least for the last 30 days, or 30 to 50 conversions average in a month. Now, for existing stores, say for example that you have been running ads in your Google Ads account for quite a while already, and you already have enough traffic and conversion data. So you want to try the aggressive scale approach. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have a performance max campaign. If not, shift to a performance max campaign and use your customer match lists, if eligible, as one of your audience signals. So as an example, what you can do is that if you have a Shopify account, you can go there and create a customer match list by compiling your order data. So let's say that you're going to compile all the sales that happened for at least the last 3 months or 5 months, compile them in a sheet and use them as a customer match list as a lookalike audience for your new Performance Max campaign as an audience signal. So what it does is that it tells your Performance Max campaign, it gives your Performance Max campaign a good start by having that conversion data that you provided as a customer match list. Google has a way for the AI to understand who your previous customers or buyers are, and it will help the AI to go after new audiences or lookalike audiences similar to your previous buyers to help the campaign to generate more sales. So that's how it works. Now, before you create a Performance Max campaign, keep in mind this is very important. So you cannot just use rely on your product's feed for your Performance Max campaign. You want to make sure that you have high quality images and videos for your products because, like I said, since Performance Max campaign will show your ads across multiple Google platforms, not only on search, as well with display, YouTube, and shopping ads. So having high quality images will definitely help you to have an impressive or a pleasing click-through rate and conversion rate because as a customer in your end, if you're going to buy something online, you will most definitely click on products with better images than those that have poor quality images. So images and videos definitely have a huge impact with your click-through rate and ads conversion rate. Lastly, I want to discuss about focusing on efficiency. So say, for example, that you already have enough conversion data for your from your search and standard shopping campaign and you create a new Performance Max campaign, you want to make sure to start with a conservative target ROAS or target return on ad spend. So like we have discussed earlier, say, for example, that in your search and shopping campaign, you have been averaging a return on ad spend of 380%. So on your new Performance Max campaign, you can already start with a bid strategy with a target ROAS because your account already has conversion data from those previous campaigns, your standard and search campaigns. So if they're averaging a ROAS of 380% per month, you may want to set your target ROAS for this new PMAX campaign, say for example at 360%. Not to restrict the targeting too much, to allow your campaign to still have the freedom to go after different bids to generate traffic and conversions freely. And then what you want to do is along the way, slowly tighten your target ROAS by doing incremental increases in your target ROAS for the campaign. And with that being said, I want you to understand that building a revenue printing campaign isn't about just clicking on auto apply on Google's recommendations right here. A lot of advertisers and business owners, as a mistake, are actually auto applying to the recommendations provided by Google here. So some recommendations are
Another banging video from Rob. So Rob, if you're watching this, thank you very much. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Taz and I look after things at Pear Digital, and we're a UK-based e-commerce marketing agency. And since 2012, we've been helping a lot of e-commerce brands grow and scale profitably using Google Ads. So if this is something that you're struggling with and getting the best profitability out of Google Ads is something you're struggling with, then down below is a link to my calendar, which you can then use it to book a call in with me and my team directly, and we can potentially help you get your Google Ads working in the right direction. But in the meantime, if you have any questions or anything at all, feel free to leave a comment down below and I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as possible. So again, thank you for watching this video and see you on the next one.